Hello everybody, once again to my kingdom, where I'm playing Starbound for the annual Starbound Sunday. Woo! Nah, I really do enjoy Starbound Sunday. It's a nice time to just kick back, relax, not worry too much. Appears as though there's a mine here. Trying to search for the core fragments, I may advise you. So first. Yeah, I would agree with that. But yeah, it's been a pretty nice few weeks. Or few weeks. It's only been 1 week. It's been a pretty nice week. I've been behind all day or all week when it comes to making videos because it's been very strange because I didn't realize how much that just doing this takes it out of me. Just recording a little bit takes a lot out of me, and I feel really bad about that. But you know, what can you do? You know, so I've been behind all week, and it's just kind of been like, dang it. But, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world if I don't create a video. At least I hope not. That would be ridiculous if some guardian angel, like, came up to me and was like, DukeMuRL, the very existence of humanity lays upon you. If you do not create one video, and at least one video every day, then all of humanity as you know it will cease to exist. I go, that doesn't sound very nice. And he says, it's not supposed to be nice. Now go away with you. But I don't know. Typically whenever I get into this, I want to talk about something, and then I start up and I have no idea how to introduce it. So I'm gonna talk about nicknames, because if there's one thing that good old DukeMuRL likes to do, it's make nicknames. I love it. It's fun to just, you know, to just create nicknames for people. Where I work at, I have a whole bunch of really awesome coworkers that I like to consider my friends, and you know, each one of them I've given their own unique nickname. So you know, one of them who doesn't work there anymore, I call Spectral Force, just because her name reminds me of a game that I played on the DS called called Spectral Force. You know, it was a Spectral Force game, and it was just this horrendously easy, you know, strategy game that really had no purpose taking up my time. But I say that so arrogantly. Okay. I say it so arrogantly. It was a boring game. That's what I mean. It was a boring game. One person, I call her Cleopatra just because she is insanely, like, independent, and I was like, man, you are one strong woman. You know, so I call her Cleopatra. You know, Queen of the Nile, owner of all of Egypt. Strong, independent, yeah, all of that. One of the guys, you know, he's a really big guy. I call him, I should turn this down a little. There we go. I call him Mr. Tweetums, just because I was like, you're big, but you're actually just a huge teddy bear. Your name is Mr. Tweetums. And also because I watch a lot of... He was also one of the first people that was, like, really awesome to me when I first started working there. So, and at the same time, I was watching a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. And, And one of the jokes in Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge is that there's a bird, very insignificant character, but Lil Karibo, the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, ends up calling it Mr. Tweetums. And I'm just like, that's funny. And at the time, I was watching a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge because it cheered me up. And so I was just like, you're Mr. Tweetums. That's how it goes. You are now Mr. Tweetums. So Mr. Tweetums got his name because of an abridged series, which is humorous in its own way. Let me see. There's... Ow. My pride. Ah! There is one person that I call Hot Pocket, and it has nothing to do with the food whatsoever. It's because she's very short and feisty. So, you know, I was like, man, you're feisty. So, you know, so she's hot. She's hot and feisty. And, you know, I'm like, but you're very small. I could, you know, you would fit in my pocket, so I call her Pocket as well. So, yeah. Where my random ideas go to sometimes. Let me see. My boss, she scared the crap out of me when I first started working with her. So, I gave her the nickname Vortex the Destroyer, Master of Chaos, Ruler of Darkness, when I first started working with her. I never told her until recently, but, you know, she scared the crap out of me, so I was like, Vortex, no. It's funny now because Vortex and I have a very sarcastic, just be jerks to each other relationship. So I remember one time it was Spectral Force, myself, and Vortex working together, and we were talking about parties. I can't exactly remember how we got to that subject, but you know, but I ended up bringing up the topic of, you know, my presence is my present, which, you know, I would assume that most people know. I would assume. You know, it pretty much means that, you know, me being here is my present to you. My time is my present. And Spectral Force did not know that, so I was like, oh, come on, how could you not know that? I mean, you know, everybody knows that. Right, Vortex? And Vortex just looks at me and goes, and I go, oh, right. You were never invited to parties because you don't have any friends. I said so bluntly, and she just goes, and there was not one lick of regret from saying that. I enjoyed the fact that I said it, and I laughed. And Spectral Force laughed. And then Spectral Force got in trouble for laughing, rather than me. It was a very funny situation. But, let me see. But yeah, I like nicknames. I like coming up with nicknames. I like just coming up with silly, goofy, stupid names that, you know, I find funny. You know, and it really just depends, like, what travels through my mind. A good chunk of my coming up with nicknames is to just take regular names or regular words and just roll with it. So it's like, you know, so there's like Cajun seasoning. I'm like, that is Cajun, the integral genie, you know, or regular. I'm just like, it's Regular, the Destroyer. You know, because and that actually originated in high school when because I wasn't really good at nicknames, so So I didn't start the tradition of nicknames. The tradition of nicknames started with a person called Tuker. I call him Tuker. And that's literally just his name, but I say it weird. And you know, it was like it was pretty much like he had a nickname for everybody in the theater except me, and I was waiting for my nickname, and he was like, I just can't come up with a name for you, which in all honesty is fairly special. Don't get me wrong, it's fairly special to not get a nickname from somebody who nicknames everyone. But he didn't have to nickname me because he just knew my name, you know. But I was still like, I want a nickname, and it's like, I can't think of anything. So I was like, you are Tuker, and he says, yes, yes, sure. And I said, just call me Mate then, you know, just call me Mate. You know, that's something. Let's go a little Australian on this. Just call me Mate. and now I refuse to go outside unless people refer to me as the DukeMuRL. But yeah, you know, it's just, yeah, it's fun to just give people nicknames, you know. So, to give it a quick note, it's like, these are frogs, you shall be Frog, and you shall be Froge. See? Frog, Froge. Frog, Froge. It's genius, I know. Yeah. Regular, the Soul Stealer. Yeah, you know, but it's a fun little hobby of mine to come up with random nicknames that people will spend trying to figure out to the end of their days. Yeah, and it's pretty funny because I actually create a lot of characters. I play Dungeons and Dragons, and so I make a lot of characters, and you know, when it comes to creating characters, it's always like, here, give me a moment. Jackwall the pirate. And then I just go from there. What? That's not right. You know, or Deskudan, the dashing rogue. You know, just I come up with random things like that because, you know, it's my thing. Alexander Linus, one of my friends, she and I used to create like little stories together. We would call it role playing, where we would just make characters and we would just place them in the same world together, and we would just we would just, you know, use them. We would, you know, just throw them in, and one of us would kind of act as the storyteller, and all of the rules and whatnot would become law. And I remember like I've created there was a period where we would just do that all the time, and I was always the storyteller, and it was so much fun, you know, to create Alexander Linus, the you know, cursed pirate of the seven seas, you know, or and his you know, and his, what was it, Japanese samurai or ninja, I'm unsure, companion. Oh gosh, what did I name him? Huh, you know, for once I can't remember it off the top of my head, and I'm normally very good about that. Oh well, that's a shame. Zate! Alabaster Zate. That was it. And we had one fantasy role-playing game, or fantasy role-playing, that, woo! And I ended up creating a character called Fink, just Fink. and he was a spirit mage, which is different from a necromancer. Problem solving for the win. It's different from a necromancer because it's not like I am. I'm not reviving bodies and using them to my will. I'm using the spirits in order to. Oh, dang it! I'm gonna use that. I'm using the spirits in order to empower my spells and you know, offer me protection, you know, and that was what it was with Fink, and he was a character I really enjoyed. I wish I could bring him back in some playthrough. Maybe at some point I'll play an RPG game like Dragon Age or something, and I'll recreate good old Fink. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. There were some other less remembered characters that I ended up creating. You know, those were some of my more favorite ones because I spent a lot of time like creating their story and just having a good old time with them. Yeah, but you know, and she created some amazing characters as well. I won't talk about them because you know, those are her creations. She you know, she should be proud of them. But she created some awesome characters, and I absolutely enjoyed the experience. We don't do it much anymore, but that's mainly because I just kind of got tired of it. Or I didn't really get tired of it. It was just something that, you know, we had done so much, and then we ended up cutting it off for such a long time, and we both ended up deleting all files that we had on the on those role plays that we had. So we just didn't have them anymore, and so some really good stories, like we couldn't remember half of the characters, couldn't remember what they were doing or where they were at the time, which is a real shame. I really did enjoy them, but I'm sure I could create like a D&D campaign and, you know, just start from there or something. I'm unsure, but you know, it was something I really enjoyed at the time. But I digress. You know, woo! I found something. You know, this is a nice little thing. Let's go ahead and wait for this message to end, and then I'm going to end the episode here. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. You know, if you for some reason like Starbound Sunday, go ahead and just headbutt that subscribe button down there and snort the dislike or like button, whichever one. And once again, thank you for watching. Bye.